All right, thanks, Rich. It is. We are in the final week leading up to Christmas, which also means New Year's follows, and both those holidays equal lots of parties, either at work or with friends or even with family. Little food, little wine, some mistletoe. What could possibly go wrong? Virtually everything. So who is responsible for what? To talk about that, John Phillips, a local defense attorney. Hey, John.
Good morning.
Happy holidays.
Thank you. You too.
Who is responsible? Is it the person who might have crossed the line, or the hosts, or the boss who's hosting the party?
Potentially everybody. You know, every commercial break, there's a lawyer on TV talking about workers' comp. You know, if you get injured on the job, if you get injured because of the job, if you get injured, however, you get a DUI and cause injury, you know, they're going to try to boil that back down to the employer. And so, you know, whether it's serving alcohol or, you know, sexual harassment caused by something as simple as mistletoe above your head, you know, there's certain things that you've got to be wary of, because there are lawyers out there wanting to take your company down and take you down.
All right, I'll get to that in a second. Let's talk about a list of different things that could cause problems and lead you down the wrong path. Overconsumption of alcohol. This could be a very big problem. All right, the people who are serving these days have a responsibility to stop someone if they think they've had too much.
They do. Dram shop acts in Florida are a little different. You've basically got to prove that you were serving a known drunkard, and so there's limitations on, you know, the over-serving issue in Florida. You know, but when you get somebody and they've had a DUI and it's an office party, was it an, you know, that's a little different. And so what we recommend is that you have an outside bartender that's a professional bartender, regulate, that knows, and have obviously taxi cabs available. You know, because if you're driving somebody and you've had a drink, then, you know, then you're crossing that line again. But just to make sure that you have, you know, kind of a wall where you're involving alcohol, if you involve alcohol, or drink tickets or something to try to show that you are responsible.
How about if you're stopped and you've been the one who's had a frosty malt beverage or two and you're thinking, you know what, I'm not legally drunk, I didn't consume that much alcohol. How do you handle it?
You don't know what your BAL is, and that's what matters.
Blood alcohol level.
Right. And so, you know, the issue is if you've had more than one drink an hour, if you've had more than 3 drinks in 2 hours, your blood alcohol may not prove what you thought you were. And so that's when, you know, you've got to seriously think about whether or not you should engage in the sobriety tests, particularly blood and breath.
Talk about the things that are on a list there. For the employers, you suggest they make sure their insurance policies are up to date and cover after-hours events. You also suggest that sometimes there could be discrimination issues that result. How so?
That's when, you know, you have, like the mistletoe. You know, if you get into a problem, you could get into some gender discrimination. You wouldn't think it's just harmless fun. Or when, you know, you get a large office and coworkers start commingling in bathrooms and elsewhere, and you've allowed that to happen. And in fact, if you have mistletoe, you've encouraged that to happen, according to some lawsuits in the past. So it's just important to try to keep everything professional. And again, it's another one where you can outsource some of this stuff, put the burden on, you know, one of the fine restaurants in Jacksonville, and let them have to deal with it.
I have 10 seconds left. Best policy to approach an office holiday party like you're in the work environment?
Be responsible. That's, you know, essentially that's it. And it's easy to get caught up in the season, but, you know, again, there's 10,000, 20,000 people killed every year for DUI, and that's the problem.
Yeah, and that's a frightening statistic. John, thank you.
Absolutely. Happy holidays.
Fairly new dad. Happy holidays to you and Angela as well. And Stace, 822.